65 million years ago. 70% of life on our planet disappeared, including the iconic dinosaurs. The diameter of 10 kilometers, the now infamous asteroid sped toward Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula at 30 kilometers per second. This was the fifth mass extinction. XR, the Extinction Rebellion. They became terrified of any upcoming disaster. The Holocene extinction and its increase was gaining traction among the common man in society. The fear of any other mass extinction was spreading. Their causes, they seem just, but their execution, irrational. Who is XR? And should they really be trusted?
There has been growing evidence of a sixth mass extinction on our planet, the Holocene extinction. It's been ongoing for the past 10,000 years, since the beginning of environmentally significant human activities, and it's only intensified in the last 100 to 200 years with the rise of industrialism. Current extinction rates are 100 times higher than natural background extinction rates due to hunting, overfishing, deforestation, eutrophication, and other man-made problems.
XR protesters are quite simple to find, as their main method to force change are extravagant protests.
Life on Earth is in crisis. Our climate's changing faster than scientists ever predicted, and the stakes are high. Crop failure, social and ecological collapse, biodiversity loss, and mass extinction. We're running out of time as a planet, and our governments have failed to act. Extinction Rebellion was formed to fix this. So we're a decentralized, international, and politically non-partisan movement, and we primarily use non-violent direct action, along with civil disobedience, to persuade governments to act justly on climate and ecological emergencies in our world. We have three central demands as an organization. First, governments must tell the truth by declaring a climate and ecological emergency, working with other institutions to communicate the urgency for change. Second, governments must act now to halt biodiversity loss and reduce greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2025. And finally, third, governments must create and be led by the decisions of a citizens' assembly on climate and ecological justice. Founded in 2018 by UK activists Gail Bradbrook, Roger Hallam, and Simon Bramwell, Extinction Rebellion has since grown to the United States, Australia, and other regions in Europe.
We see members emphasize and even take pride in civil disobedience. This has been the primary method through which Extinction Rebellion spreads its message, with many protesters openly accepting arrest and imprisonment. In fact, in London's April 2019 protest, over 1,100 arrests were made, and during the October International Rebellion later that same year, over 1,800 arrests were made.
MLK and the Civil Rights Movement, and now Extinction Rebellion, both advocated for non-violent protests. But can their strategies really be compared?
Their strategies definitely grab headlines. Some of the most famous protests include spraying fake blood at the Westminster Treasury, dumping horse manure outside newspaper offices, protesters gluing themselves to buildings and hosting die-ins, where protesters lie on the ground and pretend to be dead. Aside from its primary organization, there are a variety of different wings to XR, including Doctors for XR, a coalition of health professors that support XR's causes.
Most climate movements focus on nature and the impacts of our actions on the environment around us. But it's easy to forget that climate change impacts human health as well. In the UK alone, air pollution causes between 28,000 and 36,000 premature deaths every single year, ranging from lung cancer to heart attacks and strokes. The greenhouse effect and the subsequent global warming are also causing more harvest failures, rising sea levels, and more fires, all of which indirectly affect human health as well. One of our current campaigns is actually against JP Morgan, a leading financier of fossil fuel projects. Health professionals around the world, such as myself, are demanding for the company to stop funding future projects. And if we can even make a small change in their business practices, it'll have a notable impact on current emissions worldwide. In contrast to Doctors for XR, XR Youth, formed in July of 2019, is centered in the global south and more concerned with climate justice. Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy, Lil Climate Change, and here at XR Youth, we're mostly in our teens, pretty young, and of course, just like the main XR movement, we want emissions to be reduced and nature to prosper again. But even more importantly, we want to shine light on the disadvantaged groups and how they've been disproportionately impacted by climate change. There needs to be reparations to indigenous peoples, peoples of color, poor communities, and future generations to come for the decades of environmental injustice that's only been propagated by the wealthy businessmen and corrupt politicians in power. Now, as you can see behind me, I've got a protest to attend, but shout out to this documentary, and I'll talk to you later, my G's. Peace.
Hey, you already know who it is. You know Ice Cube, yeah? I'm Ice Cube Melting. I'm part of the XR Youth Bristol group and was one of the 2 members who laid down on the Clifton Suspension Bridge. Yeah, this was one of our protests that advocated for the climate and ecological emergency bill in Parliament. Unfortunately, it still hasn't been passed, but we'll continue protesting until it's finally a reality. Also, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to this channel.
And finally, XR also has religious support with the Christian Climate Action, which believes that it is our God-given moral duty as humans to look after our planet.
I fight with all my being for my 4 grandchildren in this situation of existential danger. And I'm a Christian who cares for the earth as God's creation and for the world's poorest people whose experience of injustice draws a special love for them. I was one of the organizers for the vigil outside Church House in London. We were calling for action and support from the Church of England while honoring victims of climate catastrophe. My favorite action of the CCA has to be Faith Bridge, though. I saw XR Christians, Muslims, Jews, and Buddhists all united under one common cause and call for peace and prayer there. I'll never forget that day. It was truly incredible. But of course, the Extinction Rebellion has its detractors.
Disrupting public transport in areas has obviously garnered disapproval from many of those who just want to live their day-to-day lives in peace. After all, how fair is it for the average Joe to suffer for the actions of his all-powerful government or a foreign company?
They're a bunch of goons who lack a basic understanding of government policymaking. Extinction Rebellion? They act like a group of emotional children rather than a logically coherent advocate for effective change. The world would be better off without them. You know what? XR. Oh, and here, have my business card. Policy Exchange, a conservative UK think tank, called the movement Extremism Rebellion and a danger to the rule of law, although it was motivated by a $30,000 donation from ExxonMobil. The Police, Crime, Sentencing and Court Act was later passed in 2022 based on the Policy Exchange report, and it limited legal protest activities even further, to be frank.
Extinction Rebellion has had its fair share of successes and controversies throughout the years. The organization has managed to grow to impressive numbers in only a few short years, and this trend might continue in the future. However, regardless of whether you support XR strategies or not, one thing is clear. We are in the middle of a biodiversity crisis, and without action, the world as we know it might become just a relic of the past.